Hello yogis, thank you for joining me. I am Sydney and today I'll be guiding you through a 30-minute sunset Hatha flow. If you have one yoga block, please bring it to today's class. Otherwise, you can substitute with a folded blanket. To begin, come to the back of your mat, bring the knees together or hip width apart, whatever is comfortable, and come down to child's pose. Forehead resting on the mat. Arms extend out long. Think about yearning the sits bones towards the heels while the fingertips reach toward the front of the mat, finding a nice spinal stretch. Dropping right into our practice, begin to slow the breath. So inhaling. Think about inflating the back body, sending your spine up toward the ceiling. And exhale, deflating. Emptying and allowing the chest and spine to fall towards the knees. Tonight's Hatha flow is going to be designed to wind down and get ready for bed, so it's perfect to practice in the evening hours or right before bed. We'll be holding the poses a little bit longer and practicing some very gentle inversions as well as some hip and leg stretches. Continue the deep breathing here. And then begin to walk the palms over toward the left side of the mat. Maybe the fingertips even come off the left edge of the mat. Right hand stacks on top of the left. Fingers and palms press down into the floor. Side body stretch on the right. Inhale deeply here. Think about sending the breath into the right shoulder, the right side body. Hips continue to reach towards the heels. Exhale. Maybe adjusting, rotating a little bit, walking the hands a little further to the side or a little further away from the body in order to deepen that side body stretch. Very good. On your next inhale, look back up and walk the hands over to the right side of the mat. Maybe the palms come off the mat onto the floor. Left palm stacks on top of the back of the right hand. Forehead comes back to the mat. And resume the deep breathing. So we'll think about slowing the breath down throughout tonight's practice in order to slow the mind down and prepare the mind-body complex for sleep. Very nice. On your next inhale, walk the palms back to traditional child's pose position. Rise up, coming to tabletop. Shoulders under wrists, knees under hips, rippling through cat-cow. Inhale, drop the belly, arch the back, look forward. Exhale, navel draws up to the spine, chin into chest, rounding. Couple more times on your own, arching, opening with the inhale and rounding with the exhale. Press into the hands, press into all 10 knuckles and into the tops of the feet. Beautiful. On your next inhale, come back to center. And then begin to take the hips into some big circles. So rotating the hips over to one side, round to the front. Coming to a lazy up dog and then back. Almost like you're sitting into child's pose again. Just making some big hip circles. You might hear some feedback in the hips and shoulders. As long as nothing hurts, that is okay. And then reverse your circle. Inhale, coming forward. Exhaling, opposite side, round and back. Inhale, come forward. Exhale. exhale, round and back. Couple more times. Really slowing down, listening to what feels good in your body. Now on the next inhale, come back to tabletop. Wrists under shoulders. Inhale, reach the right arm up toward the ceiling like you're drawing a bow and arrow. Exhale, thread the right arm under the left. Right side of the forehead, right temple comes to the mat. Walk the left palm forward, thread the needle. Think about opening the chest up toward the ceiling, almost like you're looking under that left armpit up toward the ceiling. Finding a twist in the upper back body. And then think about drawing the shoulders down and away from the ears. Deep breaths here into the upper back. On your next exhale, draw the left hand back in under your shoulder. And then inhale, reach up, coming back to tabletop position. Second side, inhale, reach the left arm up and overhead. Exhale, twisting, thread the needle under the right arm. Right palm can stay on the mat or walk the right arm forward. And think about finding that cat back, that rounding from our cat-cow in this position. So we're allowing the back to contract, creating a deeper twist in the spine. On the next exhale, draw the right hand back in under the shoulder. Inhale, reach the left arm up toward the ceiling. Exhale, come back to tabletop. Walk the palms one palm length forward. Fingertips spin out slightly. Curl the toes under. Inhale and exhale, press back, downward facing dog. A gentle inversion here, so the head is below the heart. Begin to pedal through the feet and the legs, stretching out the low body. Press weight into all 10 knuckles of the fingers to take the weight out of the wrist. Bend through the knees as much as you need. Coming to stillness. Biceps rotate to the front of the mat. Inhale, right leg toward the ceiling, baby three-legged dog, not the highest three-legged dog you can. Exhale, draw knee to chest, engage the core, step or carry the foot through, plant the sole of the foot, coming into low lunge position. Squeeze the inner thighs together, and when you're ready, inhale, reach the arms up and overhead, Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Squeeze the thighs together. Think about rounding through your low back in order to lengthen out of the low back. Avoid compressing the low spine. Inhale, reach up, grow tall through the crown of the head. Maybe an exhale, back bend by cactusing the arms, or not. Holding here for another couple breaths. Pull the front hip back as you push the back hip forward. And then exhale, bring the left hand down to the mat. Inhale, reach the right arm up, easy twist. Think about opening both shoulders toward the right side of your mat. Option to stay here, or if it's in your practice, you can look back, deeper chest opening, and maybe take hold of the back foot, bending the back knee. Wherever you are, think about opening the chest, front body over to the right side of the mat. Micro bend the left elbow to avoid locking out. If you're holding that back foot, release, curl the back toes under, lift the back knee. Inhale, reach up with the right arm. Exhale, plant the palms, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, baby three-legged dog, left leg up to the ceiling. Exhale, knee to chest, step or carry the foot through. Inhale, reach up, arms circling up. Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Front knee is over front ankle. Thighs squeeze together for balance. Maybe you cactus the arms and take a small back bend here, only if it feels good. And just returning to the breath. Notice if you lost focus of the breath. Coming back to that deep, slow, conscious breathing. Plant the right palm. Reach the left hand up to the ceiling, easy twist. Option to stay here or look back to that back foot, maybe take hold of it. Wherever you are, think about opening the chest over to the left side of the mat. So both shoulders yearn toward the left side. Shoulders draw down and away from the ears. Micro bend the right elbow. Deep quad stretch if you're holding the foot. If you're holding that foot, release. Everyone curl the toes under on the back foot. Exhale, plant the palms, step back, downward facing dog. Pedal through the legs, shake that out. Exhale, draw the right knee in toward the chest. Step the right knee behind the right wrist. Lower the hips to the floor, pigeon pose. Take a look back, make sure the back left heel is in line with the left hip. Sit up tall. If you feel like you're rounding or having trouble bringing that right hip to the floor, grab a block, place it under the right hip. Really nice to find some lift. Everyone grow tall. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, option to stay here or fold forward. We're winding down, coming to the end of the day. This practice is meant to calm the body and the mind. So if folding forward is not feeling good in your body, do not force it. This is supposed to be comfortable, and we're going to be holding this pigeon for a couple minutes. So really take a moment right now to find a comfortable position and commit. Perhaps closing the eyes, coming back to the breath, always coming back to the breath in our practice. Slowing the inhales and the exhales. Just being present. You may notice in this position, as you hold it, the body begins to give into the pose and find a little bit more space. On your next inhale, begin to press the hands into the mat. Walk the palms back, only if you are folded. And then exhale, roll over onto the right hip. Swing the left leg round. Cross the left knee over the right knee, coming into Gomukhasana, cow legs position. If this is just not working in your body, or if this is not feeling good, if this is not feeling relaxing, please take a cross-legged seat. Left heel in front of the right. If you're in Gomukhasana, you're stacking the left knee on top of the right knee, soles of the feet face up. Find a tall spine. So if you're rounding, come to sit on top of folded blanket or stack of pillows. Bring the hands to the soles of the feet, grow long through the spine, and then option to fold forward, only if it feels good. A wonderful stretch for the hips, the outside of the thighs. And give yourself a little arch massage here by rubbing the arches of the feet if you're in Gomukhasana. It also works if you're in cross-legged position. Nice, one more breath here. If you're folded forward, you can begin to press the hands into the mat to rise back up, rolling up through the spine. And then you should be facing the front of the mat still. So if it's comfortable, you can roll over the knees, coming back to tabletop. Otherwise, swing the legs to one side and come back to tabletop position that way. Inhale, look forward, arch the back a little. Exhale, step back, downward facing dog. Pedal through the legs, shake the stretch out. Notice if there's a difference between the right and the left sides after that deep stretch. Inhale, exhale, draw our left knee to the chest and then bring the left knee behind the left wrist, lowering the hips into pigeon pose. Look back, right heel should be in line with the right hip. Inhale, grow tall. Left shin is drawing in toward the groin, heel toward the groin, not parallel to the top of the mat. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, option to fold forward. And of course, if there's a lot of space between the left hip and the floor, grab that block. Usually in pigeon pose, in these deep forward folds, one side feels very different than the other. So if you're experiencing that, that's normal. Just notice. And that's why we work the poses for the same amount of time on each side in order to bring the body to equilibrium. On your next inhale, press the hands into the mat. Begin to walk the palms back to your body if you're folded forward. We'll all meet in the upright pigeon pose. And then roll over onto the left hip. Swing the right leg around very slowly. Bring the right knee on top of the left. You can come to face the long edge of your mat now, so facing the side. Right knee on top of left if you're taking Gomukhasana. If you're taking the cross-legged position, the right heel is now in front of the left heel. Inhale, grow tall wherever you are. Hands can come to the soles of the feet if you're in cow legs pose. Exhale, option to fold forward, not necessary. Just finding a place where you feel a gentle, comfortable stretch you can hold for a minute or so. And then coming back to the breath. On your next inhale, if you're folded forward, press the hands into the mat, roll up. Carefully unravel the legs. Bring the soles of the feet to the mat. Feet are hip-width apart, and then windshield wiper the legs to one side, knees drop to one side, and then to the other. A couple times just to release the muscles after that deep stretch. One side and then the other. Once more. Beautiful. We're going to come into a wide-legged forward fold. So bring the legs out wide. Sit up on the front of the sits bone. So sitting up tall. If you feel like you're rounding back, you're struggling to hold on, bring the legs a little closer. Think about the form over the ego. Wanting a comfortable position. Grow long through the spine. You can always sit up on folded blanket, a stack of pillows, something to elevate the hips. And then exhale, option to fold forward. Maybe you're staying up with the palms pressing into the mat. That's perfectly okay. Otherwise, you can come down to the elbows. Maybe bring a block under the forehead. Feet stay active, toes flexing up toward the ceiling. All 10 toes point to the ceiling. Couple breaths here. We're not going to hold this one quite as long. Very nice. If you're folded forward, use the palms, walk them back in toward your body to sit up. Swing the legs to face the front of the mat. So you're facing the front of the mat, legs out long. Sit up tall. Again, always an option to bring something under the hips to elevate yourself. Bend the knees, sit up tall. Inhale, reach up toward the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold. Now a closed-legged forward fold, Paschimottanasana. Option 1, keep the hands at the shins. Option 2, bring the hands to the sole to hold onto the edges of the feet. Option 3, hands wrap around and interlace around the soles of the feet. Picking whatever option serves you best here so you can find length in the spine. A lot of deep breathing here. Shoulders draw down and away from the ears. I could be doing that a little better here. Closing the eyes, going inward. Begin to roll up on your next inhale. Point the toes, roll up one vertebra at a time, stacking the spine. Head is the last thing to come up. Chin parallel to the mat. Taking any little stretch that feels good. And then scoot the hips forward, reach forward, roll back one vertebra at a time. Coming to lie down on the back. Draw the knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug. Maybe rocking a little side to side on the spine if that feels good. Coming into our last position, if you have the block, grab that now. Otherwise, you can take a folded up blanket, maybe about 4 to 6 inches in diameter, and bring the block or the blanket, if you have the block either on the first or second height, just not the highest height, under the hips. So feet are hip width apart. Press into the feet, lift the hips, coming into bridge, and then bring the block or blanket under your hips, coming into a supported bridge. Draw the shoulder blades under the back body. Think about sending the chest toward the chin toward the sky, and all 10 toes pointing toward the front of your mat. Feet are parallel, pressing into all 4 corners of the feet and just resting here, a gentle inversion. Always close the eyes if that's comfortable. Hands can be on the belly or out at your sides. And gentle chest opening. And if you lost touch with the breath, come back to the breath. Slowing down, moving into the end of our practice. Press into the feet, lift the hips off the block, set the block to the side, and then roll down one vertebra at a time, imprinting the spine onto the mat like you're trying to press every part of your back body into the mat. Hips are the last thing to come down. Draw the knees in toward the chest. Give yourself another hug, maybe again rocking a little side to side. We were just in a back bend, so now we're rounding a little bit. If you are doing this right before bed, maybe pause and move into sleep. I wish you a wonderful and restful night of sleep. If you have a little bit of time before bed, then please come into Shavasana. Bring the soles of the feet to the mat. Extend the legs out long. Heels are at least hip width apart, if not wider. Feet flop open. Shoulders draw under the back body, lifting the heart a little bit. Hands come out to your sides. And just rest. Please stay in Shavasana as long as you can. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I wish you a wonderful and restful evening and beautiful night's sleep. I send you all my love and light. Namaste.